For one of your you're starting. Sorry.
It's Norman Kochnick here from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. Officials say Sai says we're late again. We're never late. It's always on time. We're here with our audience. Kunal Sharma's here. Official Sai's here. We've got Anuj Ingles here. We've got our regulars already on. So Anuj Ingles saying Norman is watching his highlights, I guess, because he can't sacrifice his sleep cycle. I don't have a sleep cycle, guys. What are you talking about? We are going to be joined by some guests. I deliberately started. We could have waited till 5. There's going to be a corridor, guys, between say quarter to and to the hour where we'll start. Please bear with us. There's a lot of reasons for that, but I think you'll find it worth your wait. We're expecting some guests today. I've obviously got my main guest, Debashis Sen from Extra Time, who you would all know has a great platform of his own. And I need to mention Eyes on Cricket occasionally with Extra Time too. I think I need to both discuss that sometimes. Now, we've had some good numbers of late on both shows, in fact. How are the numbers on Extra Time? They were pretty good?
Yeah, that's on an average, we are getting good numbers, Norman, and you have been outstanding as a host. And we have some very distinguished guests in the likes of senior journalists like Vijay Lokapalli and Nikhil Naz, and also the fact that we have a marger weight Bharat Army. So we are getting in a lot of fans who are really they keep a lot of track as to what is happening in the world of cricket. They are very updated, very knowledgeable, and they throw up some very good points in our discussion.
And now that's relevant to this group as well. We have fans that have asked me towards the end of last night's session or yesterday's session to join. So I'm going to allow you to do that. All you need to do is send me your email address, and I'll arrange for the StreamYard link that you can click on to join as well. We'll do that towards the later part. Once Debashis starts falling asleep, I'll push him out. No, not my joke. But the fact is, we're going to be able to do that. Don't worry. Now, official side keeps saying he's late again. Ooh. Official side, we're going to be very angry with you. No, I'm joking. All right.
And I would like to add is that you should get the fans also to join your discussion, because
we will.
They are the real what to say,
the lifeblood,
lifeline of your show. So I think
I don't know about lifeline. Lifeblood. Lifeline explains I'm going to ring them and say I'm going to kill myself. Now lifelines are a bit different. Lifeblood may be the right term.
Maybe.
Debashis, get your terminology right, would you? You're setting a bad precedent here. It should be lifeblood. Okay. Now, they're asking us already about the Chennai pitch. Look, there's no doubt the Chennai pitch was slow, somewhat turning. Everybody knows that. Every man and his dog knows that that's the way the pitch will be. You've got to bat accordingly. We talked at length on a number of programs about the very fact that batters have to adjust to the ball not coming on the bat. And in doing so, that means batting in the nets, getting used to the ball not coming on the bat, and actually practicing. So there's no excuses for these teams. I mean, there were quite a few dismissals today, yet again, that were based on deliveries of people who did not play well. And the way that, let's be honest, we're talking about the game, of course, say, between KKR and Mumbai Indians. KKR had the opportunity to actually win the match. It was theirs for the taking. They had the opportunity there. They batted well enough with Gill and Rana at the beginning, and they needed to be able to cement that, and they imploded. Owen Morgan, Shakib, including Andre Russell, right through the batting line, they got out for low scores to shots they shouldn't have played. They were run a ball, weren't they, Debashis? They were run a ball.
At one point of time, there was some 104 for 3. And they had a great start with Shubman Gill and Nitish Rana. Almost they scored 72. So I think KKR has themselves to blame for losing this match.
Well, someone just mentioned where are the ladies today? Well, we have got ladies coming. In fact, I've just been text messages by someone who is going to be rather special to have along. Shapali Rurkoti, who I think I'm waking up. She unfortunately probably had a bit of a snooze, but they're going to be here. We're going to have female contingent. Pretty is not far away. Her holiday's finished. A partner. They're going to come. One day you're going to be absolutely hit at by Gagi Wonka as well. A number of players, ex-players of women are going to be here. You're going to have too many women in the end. Will feel inadequate. They're going to be here. Don't worry. KKR just crumbled, themselves to blame. Absolute official side, you're absolutely right. KKR should have won this match. Mumbai Indians, okay, we can applaud the fact that they held to the score, but they really were allowed to do that by some very bad batting from KKR. They had obviously Kartik and Russell, Owen Morgan, Shakib. Those four players should have been able to handle this, let alone Gillen right at the beginning. They really had no excuses. Now, Gareth Bunker says Morgan's philosophy is relentless attacking batting is not fit for difficult pitches. Yes, I can agree with that. But when a batsman's capable of adjusting and still playing aggressive shots, which Kohli can do, Samson can prove to. What 31 Zar says, what do you think about guys think about Rohit Sharma? Well, Rohit Sharma is an excellent captain. We have an extra right on cue, Anisha. We welcome to Eyes on Cricket with
Thank
Norman
you.
Cosmic. Anisha Tucker am I pronouncing that correctly? Tucker?
Yes, it's Tucker.
Tucker.
Yeah.
You are exactly what my fans were asking. They're asking me, where are the girls? Because I normally have some great people on the show. We've added another chat.
Did you actually mention them that I'm gonna come live with you?
No, I wanted to make it a surprise.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Norman, for calling me and inviting me in your show. I'm so glad and so honored to be a part of this show. So we have Debashish Sen. He doesn't know me, but somehow I have a connect with him because I saw that he used to work with Grey Mind, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes.
So Debashish, I'll call you Debashish Da because we have that bong connect, Debashish Da.
Oh, you work in Calcutta?
Yes, I belong to Calcutta. And I have worked with Anil Aboda.
Oh,
so that's how we have the connect. So I was so happy when you mentioned that you are there in the show. You don't know me, but I have worked in that studio, Grey Mind Studio, for quite a long time because I used to work for Star. So we have shot for a few shows there. There was Jam Jama Troba Geo KKR, which we used to shoot. Yeah.
Right.
And then the fiction, that is Baish God Roho show. We used to shoot with Anil Aboda. So Norman is like, where am I in the show? They have got a good connection.
Maybe we need to have Anisha as well for on extra time. Norman, what do you suggest?
Look, there is only so many legs and arms and body parts that Anisha has. She can't be everywhere at all the time. What are you talking about?
Obviously, she's
now listen. Now, I'm having a private. I'm going to have a private moment with my fans. Guys, should we let Debashish so quick? Now, don't stop listening. Do you think we should really have Debashish already taking it? Anisha, she's been here 35 seconds and he's already taking it. Oh, I can't believe it. All right. Now.
Okay, to all your followers and to all your fans, let me tell you guys that today I am just not a guest. I'm going to co-host the show with Norman. So according to him, he's the dead drop gorgeous in the show. And today
drop dead. Hang on, not dead drop. Drop dead.
Drop dead. Yes. Drop dead gorgeous in the show. But so today I think I'm going to take the limelight from you. And also I'm the center of attraction, you see.
Just a little bit. I mean, I have had beauty treatment coming out of my ears, and Debashish knows that I usually claim to be the most beautiful person on the channel. I'm afraid I've lost that mantle within 35 seconds. It's sad. Now, Anisha, give our viewers some history about you, please.
Okay. So, basically, first I'll start with my name because I'm going to go with the correct pronunciation of my name, which is Anisha Thakkar. I'm a Gujarati. I live in India. to be specifically, I belong to Kolkata. I started my sports career when I joined the franchisee which is called Kolkata Knight Riders team. For quite many years, I was their digital host. So everybody knows me as the KKR girl. Then I joined Star Sports. I used to work for Star Sports Bangla because my Bangla is very good. So they have taken me for Star Sports Bangla. I've done quite many shows for them. I have worked with one of your very good friend, that's Boria. So Boriada is very close to me. Uh, and yes, that's how my sports career started. And I have worked with all the legendary cricketers like Kapil Dev, MS Dhoni, and everyone from around the world, not just Indians, but from across the globe. So here I'm today. I'm very, very glad that Norman actually invited me to his show, and he said that it would be lovely if you co-host the show with me. So I think it's let's just get over with my introduction and get to the topic because people really want to know the match updates, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, and also we have Debashish Sen, who speaks a lot when it comes to cricket, because he has done wonders in his career, and today he's with us. So let's discuss about what happened today. What what went wrong with Kolkata Knight Riders team? Because when they started, we thought that it is the team which is going to break the record of Mumbai Indians, and they are going to take it today, but that didn't happen. So let's talk about that. So I don't know, Norman. I guess you were already discussing on few points about that with.
Well, we didn't go too deeply into it. Just Anisha, just for your sake, we have a lot of very, very interactive fans. Are you able to see the fans on the right hand side? Can you see them?
No, I don't have a system right now, so you can tell
Okay, that's all right. But we have some of our fans are members, which is another level above a subscriber. Official side, we have a good shout out to those. Munchie, who's very well known to us. He's been a regular for some time. He's actually based in England, and so you'll see on the side that the names are in green. They're so-called members, and the other people are also very important. They're subscribers, but we make a shout out to the members very, very often. I'll explain that more to you as we go along. So just quickly, Munchie says, guys, how, and you can answer this, help us answer this, is how did KKR lose the game? And I'll put that up for you so you can see that.
Yeah. See, Manshi, even I was expecting them to win the game, and I think the dead overs didn't really work for them. I don't know what happened in the last few innings. I mean, I felt they just took it for granted. They could have just gone for singles since the beginning. Why they were so slow? Because when you see the score, I think it was like something like which they could have beat easily. They could have made the runs. I don't know what happened exactly with them. So yeah, even I'm disappointed the way you are disappointed. But then again, being an IPL anchor, I just can't talk about one team. Maybe it's just not their day.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to, Debashish, this is a question for you or for both of us, all of us. I'm going to, official site says, where is he? Actually, we'll go to Milan now. Milan is actually based in Austria.
Okay.
Could you read that out for me?
I got a scare when he tripped over while bowling his first over today. We can't afford to lose him again for the upcoming India matches in England.
And we're referring to Debashish, who are we referring to there?
No, I think it was quite a funny sight, obviously, with Hardik Pandya and Surya Kumar Yadav having a blast, laughing at him. But I think it was just a simple, casual thing. He just tweaked his ankle, and then we saw Greg King rushing and treating him. But then, good that he got back to bowling. But then, having said that, I think KKR had themselves to blame for losing the match tonight. Obviously, they had their match in their grip with 72 runs being scored by the openers Shubman Gill and Nitish Rana. But then I think this loss will hurt big time because KKR won their first match against Sunrisers, and if you have two wins under your belt, then you have that confidence going, because in a tournament like IPL you need 8 wins to guarantee your place in the playoffs, because the I would say that 16 points is the cutoff point. Means if you manage to get 16, you are more or less certain, guaranteed of your place to be in the playoffs. But then, having lost this match, I think KKR have themselves to blame, and as was the case last season, they just missed the playoffs by a whisker. In fact, if you see now, it was just a matter of 8 runs, the net run rate, net run rate. It was a matter of 8 runs between Sunrisers Hyderabad and KKR, which was the reason that KKR did not manage to qualify for the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Also,
And
there
actually,
are a few things which I needed to point. Like when they started the innings, Morgan were using the spinners in the majority power plays overs. What do you think about this move, Devashish?
I think it was a great move because, especially opening with someone like Harbhajan and Shakib, these two experienced bowlers, this is something that I like because that was missing last season when Dinesh Karthik was the captain. So, if you notice that Pat Cummins was in fact brought after the power play, if I'm not wrong. So I think it was a good move because, and also the fact that they were playing in Chennai, which the wicket was slow, and so I think it was a good move on the part of Norman, on the part of Morgan. So, but then, as I say, that obviously Mumbai Indians also losing 7 wickets thanks to Andre Russell, the bowler, but KKR fans won't need a Andre Russell, the bowler. They need Andre Russell, the batsman, to make it count. The big hitter that we all know. Andre Russell, the batsman, the big hitter, that is missing for last 2 seasons, and that is hurting big time.
Also, when we are talking so much about Kolkata Knight Riders team, I think that we can't miss Surya Kumar Yadav from Mumbai Indians. That's 6. I mean, that is the best shot I have ever seen in the season so far. I mean, who could have expected that 6, that too from Pat Cummins when he's bowling, and Surya Kumar giving that 6? What an amazing shot. What an amazing shot.
I mean, it speaks volumes of his rise to stardom. Obviously, last couple of seasons, if you take from last IPL, means he has been performing day in day out for Mumbai Indians, and it is due to his form in IPL and domestic cricket that he made it to the Indian side. So I think that it speaks volumes of his ability as a stroke player. And oh boy, means it was just it also, what a shot that was. Means very few had hit the ball out of the park in Chepak, and that was the case today. So I think it augurs well for the Indian team with the T20 World Cup coming up. Who knows? Means he can be our match winner.
Now, there's a lot of discussion in the commentary about the back injury of a certain player, and that player is, well, it's a combination of Andre Russell, or is it, who are we talking about, Devashish, when I talk about a back injury? What do you know about a back injury of one of the players today? There's a significant discussion about a back injury.
If you can elaborate, who is there any injury
Well,
concern?
Munshi has said the issue is with Sharma and soft tissue injury. When the body cools down, the actual source will prevail. Is there any concern about the injuries to some of the players?
That is what I get to know, that Ishant Sharma is still doubtful for the second match. So, but then the Ishan is lot more injury prone. If you look at his record, means last season also in the IPL he missed out the IPL in the UAE. So one would hope that he recovers because um, this is a great platform to someone on the caliber of Ishan to showcase his talent, because in that Delhi, because the Delhi capital side, you have someone like Nokia and Rabada who's going to be a certainty for most of your matches, if not all the matches from now on. So I think the Delhi Capitals, I don't think Ishan does have a case to play most of the matches. So to Umesh Yadav, but then it's a bit sad. It's a bit worrying as well, because Ishan, we all know, is a good bowler, is a decent bowler.
Sorry to interrupt, Ranesh, but I'll occasionally bring up comments for you, and you can then bring that to discuss. But I'm impressed with the way you've taken charge so quickly. This is startlingly good. Startlingly good. And I'm sure the fans are probably thinking, "Oh my gosh, who is Anisha? She's come on and taken over." But it's refreshing, guys. We need that. I mean, even though I'm not as beautiful, I know that generally, guys. Please, those comments, I'm having to delete them when it comes to
that is what you call Norman professional. She is a pro. She is a pro, which I am not a pro.
Doesn't
Thanks to
seem
you that,
so.
Of course you are a pro. Stop saying that to bastards.
Yeah.
Don't be silly. All right, now.
Okay, well, we were also talking when we were talking about Surya Kumar Yadav, Devashishda, this is for you. Well, he's getting the start, but he's not been able to convert his start to somewhere around 80 and even more than that. So, what do you think about this?
yeah, it's something that Surya Kumar himself needs to find out a way how to make this starts into a big knocks. Means obviously, you need to finish off games. Means that's because that is what is expected from you. You are playing at a top level, and especially for a team like Mumbai Indians, who have been the most successful franchise. But having said that, obviously, if you, I think he was playing too many shots to say, and that led to his downfall. But then he played a outstanding knock. I think these are early days in the IPL. Anisha is so as to say, but then he will definitely come because it's just the second match of the for Mumbai Indians in the tournament.
Yeah.
Anisha, this is a comment that I want you to talk about.
Mr. Singh, thoughts
on Ben Stokes.
IPL. I believe he has got an arm injury, and that's why he's been ruled out of the IPL, which is pretty serious.
Broken finger. He has a broken finger.
Yeah,
so
and he has a right hand. He has a right hand surgery also. So I think that's right hand middle finger, right?
Absolutely. While taking the catch in last match.
That's the reason why he's been ruled out, and the chances for RR to qualify for the playoffs. Well, Milan, see, I'm not an expert to talk about this, but I know what has happened. And Rajasthan Royals to qualify, the last match they played extremely well. Now let's see what happens. I think Devashishda will be a better person to comment.
I don't see that.
The guests are coming on thick and fast here, Anisha. We have, hello, Anisha, this is Mervyn Richards, the respected raconteur from Antigua. He has his own show in Antigua. He's a wine expert. He's a food expert, aren't you? Well, I think you are. Mervyn, when Mervyn Richards walks down the streets of Antigua, he kisses the hand of every lovely lass. He is the groom gentleman. And
you're too kind, Norman.
And a small thing, Anisha, he also happens to be the brother of Viv Richards, but that's a small thing. The fact is, he's a raconteur. He's all these other things. Anisha, meet Mervyn Richards.
Hello.
Yeah, a pleasure to be. Yeah, hello, my dear. And to tell it to everyone on your on the panel.
Of course.
And hi, Marvin. Hi, Marvin.
Unless you
do you remember me?
Introduce us all to Mervyn.
Do you remember me? I met you at your old residence in Antigua. In fact,
right,
me and Shom Subro La of Hindustan Times, we both went and interviewed. We had all three brothers together.
Right. Yes, right. You did an article also, ain't it?
Now he's having a major
and Lyndon Richards, the driver, he took us to your place and you, in fact, you showed us where we used to play during his childhood days, the streets, and
that's right.
Lovely interacting with you.
Yeah, great to see you. How are you keeping?
I'm fine, Marvin. Great to see you as well.
Very good. I'm fine to hear you're fine.
This is all warm and fuzzy, guys. You come in warm and fuzzy. Warm and fussy. Not fussy, fuzzy. When Mervyn's on
fuzzy, all right.
And Anisha, now I want to make this clear. Anisha, you know who Sir Vivian Richards is, don't you?
I think before you say that, I think the way they were talking, I feel like the best times they have spent, they're celebrating those good times they have spent together. That's lovely. That's lovely to see.
Yes.
Okay, so we
have... Yeah, and thanks to... And thanks to
Yeah,
technology that I am in touch with my old friend here. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
so now, Anisha, Sir Vivian Richards, your knowledge of Sir Vivian Richards, who, this is going to be interesting. Your knowledge of Sir Vivian Richards, tell me. Oh, we've lost her. Anisha's new to the show, and she's, I'm not sure what's happened. She's come off. She'll be back on in a second. But Mervyn, thank you for joining us. Devashish is here. We've got Shripali
My
coming
pleasure.
on. Pretty's not coming on today, but we've got a gaggle of hosts. Did you have a chance to watch the match between Kolkata Knight Riders?
I watched a lot of part of. I watched a lot of part of the of who it was the KKR batting. Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
Pretty good. But what I'm gathering that and it's something that I always believed in is that sometimes you're going to get wickets that you're going to have to play regular and decent cricket shots, and that's why I always think that a test player can adapt to the shorter version of the game rather than someone who plays T20 and may not be able to go on and adapt to test situations, and I think the wicket today was one of those kind of wicket that you needed to play sensible cricket, and when you get the opportunity to hit out that you could, and I thought that the Mumbai Indians, they came back pretty well there. For one moment I thought they were on the losing end.
I totally agree with Mervyn because I think top these test batsmen also are successful in this format, as is the case with the likes of Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, because they are successful across all the formats. And
That's
few
right.
of the shots, I think they were playing too many shots because all they needed to do is to apply themselves and take the match away, because the Knight Riders had the match in their grasp, but then they threw it away. I think few of the shots were outrageous. Means that led to their downfall, because they almost had the match in their hands with almost 72 the start that they had, and also 104 runs for 3 wickets, and then to not get home. I think they themselves has to be blamed.
That's correct. That's correct. Absolutely correct.
It looks as though Anisha's phone has died on her and she's recharging it, which is unfortunate. That happens when you're not ready for those phones. A lot of questions.
But I think Rohit is a great tactician. I think he's a good captain. Yeah, and he knew he was down on the ropes. But as a matter of fact, who would have thought of putting a fielder in front of Russell? I mean, he saw something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it almost paid off. Had not Pandey, dropped that catch.
Mervyn, what do you think of Andre Russell's performance today?
Oh, his bowling was good. He's very deceptive. This little lazy run up that he has. But he's a strong lad, and I think he's a game winner on either side, either with the bat or with the ball. But I think somehow he was an athlete before. I think he represented Jamaica as a track and field star. But now that he's got a bit thick, he's prone to, I believe, sometimes injury. So he's not that quick on the field as he used to be. But he's very much an asset to the KKR.
But do you think? Can I ask something, Norman, to Marvin? Do you
Sure.
think that he's losing that sheen, because he has been labeled as a big hitter, a power hitter, as we all know? But is he losing that that skill, so as to say, in recent times?
Um, well, he's not as consistent as he used to be, and that's for sure. Um, and obviously he's under a bit of pressure to produce at all times, and you know, it's with T20, you either if you're on the go and you're seeing it, and you can know when it's going to be your day, and there are times when it's going to be pretty much tough for you, and pretty much lately he has not been coming off too much with the bat, you know. And I believe that teams have done their homework to know exactly
Yeah,
how they should approach bowling to him, you know. So he may find it a bit difficult, you know, now going forward as the man uh, to produce at all times.
absolutely.
I mean, to me, Andre Russell is important to this team. There's a lot of questions about him having to perform. He did take 5 weeks today. He didn't get the runs when he batted, but he's an invaluable person to this team, as is Pollard with the Mumbai Indians. They mustn't
That's
forget the
right.
firepower, and Chris Gale ultimately with Punjab Kings. They're both amazing. It's quite impressive. And look, their box office, aren't they, Mervyn? Their box office. They attract viewers. They are.
Hmm.
You want to go and watch them play because of their firepower. And even Bravo is also floating around as well. He's somebody
Oh yes,
who's
yes.
box office for sure. All right. There's a lot of
But
discussion
I see a lot
about
of
injuries.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I was going to say that there's a lot of young players coming through in here. You know, this is a breeding ground for them. You know, and that bowler that took what was 4 for 27, what's his name?
Rahul Chahar, Rahul
With his
Chahar, the
Rahul.
spinner.
Yeah,
Rahul
sure,
Chahar.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, I mean, when you're bowling leggies in a T20, you've got to be on.
Oh
Right?
yes.
You can't be
Yes.
too short, or you cannot be too much up there. You got to be on. You know, from the first ball that you bowl, you have to be right there on the spot. You know, and I thought he bowled pretty well, and he has been very consistent. I think in the last, he was pretty good in the last edition of the IPL.
I
Oh,
agree.
absolutely.
If you allow me, I agree what David says, Norman. If I could
Yeah.
read it for you guys, he says that Russell will always struggle on slower tracks. He will probably go berserk in Mumbai, which I think to some extent, yes. I think it was a slow track. The ball was not coming on to the bat, so stroke making was a bit difficult. But having said that, on a flat decks, like especially when you are playing at Wankhede, I think we will get to see the best out of Andrew Russell, the batsman, the power hitter which he is.
Absolutely. I think
Right?
teams are
Yeah,
going to talk
absolutely.
away
Yeah.
from the teams are going to talk away from Andrew Russell. Just let him go because he will come. I believe he's still got the capability, well and truly. And
Yeah.
the other question, Debashis, is around Hardik Pandya and his injury, his shoulder injury. Yet again, he didn't bowl today, did he?
No, he didn't bowl. It was expected because with a long season coming up against England, because India play England in six test matches, including the World Test Championship final, and also followed the series against England is the big one, the T20 World Cup in India. So you cannot risk someone means because we know that he has just come back after a surgery. So I think it's. He is just taking his time. He did obviously, if you remember, he did bowl in the series against England, the T20 series I'm talking about. He did bowl in the series against England, and also in Australia. He 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 was very crucial. If you remember the series against Australia, he to India winning the matches there. So I think maybe he wants to be a little too cautious. He doesn't want to aggravate or risk his injury because he's coming back after a surgery. So he needs to be taken care of, which is fair enough. maybe during the business end of the tournament, we get to see Hardik Pandya bowl. Who knows?
Absolutely. People are making comments as to the timing of this session. I think we've got an audience here, Mervyn, which is actually well suited to the Americas, the West Indies, the Englands, the Europes, as well as India. We've got a particularly good, strong basis of people, and I'm very glad about that. And I love more West Indian viewers. In fact, your show, Mervyn, I watch it religiously. Your Parish League is superb. You have Curly Ambrose and obviously Viv's come on there. It's been fantastic. And your hosting is sublime.
Can you just send me the link? I will subscribe and I will keep watching from today, because I never knew that Marvin had a channel of his own. So if
well,
you can,
YouTube. It's not YouTube. It's not YouTube. I'll send you the link. I'll get Mervyn and I will send you the link.
All right.
But it's an excellent platform.
Marvin, you are on mute. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I better?
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought I was in a Chinese movie, you know. I'm just kidding. Words come after my mouth is shut. Yeah.
So I mean, you have that's a great. In the Parish League is a fantastic league that you cover. It's a great league within Antigua. You have great guests, and we're talking post show about the book, of course, and we're going to talk more about that as time comes on. That was an excellent suggestion. I've already posted the book online. We're going to make that a great discussion post this session. Mervyn,
fantastic.
We're going to have a three-way conversation, and I applaud you sending it forward. In fact, I mentioned it to a esteemed Indian media journalist, in fact, Vijay Lokapali today, and he was interested about the book as well. So he, of course, has written many books himself on the likes of Kohli, and is an avid writer. So we could almost have a cricket book hour if necessary. I think they're great things.
Right.
Amazing, quite amazing. All right, now I'm not sure where Anisha is because her phone is dead. There must be something wrong with her phone because she left abruptly, and she was so keen to come to the show, and her phone is not connecting. So we may have lost her for an indefinite period of time. That's okay.
Yeah, but Norman, I've got in my memory, so I'm still seeing her even though she's not there.
She did come. We did have Anisha on the show. You weren't saying you weren't having a mirage. It was. We did have a lovely lady on the show.
Yeah. Still on my mind. Yes.
Yeah. And Norman, I'm so excited and happy that to see Marvin on your show, because I did watch in your previous shows. Thank you very much, and your platform, because I have been to Antigua twice. We had a lovely discussion at his residence, and it is great to see you, Marvin.
It is the same here. Yeah. It is the same here. It's great to see you too. You know.
Yeah.
Yes. Guys, have a virtual hug or something. It's worrying me. There's so much love coming out of both of you. It's exploding out of you. Give yourself a virtual hug, please. You can do that. Mervyn, turn to your right, and turn to your left. Give yourself a hug. You can do it on the screen. You can
turn myself to the left.
You turn to the right. You know, not the screen. You just give Tabastas a hug. Give Tabastas a hug.
Oh, okay.
Look, I'll give you an example. I'm giving Tabastas a kiss. Yes. All right. Guys.
Look, I don't have Norman as the best, Trust me. You know, me and Norman, we're extremely close, you know, but I don't have him as the best. But I know for sure he's way ahead of the person in second place.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk cricket now. We're not gonna wait for Anisha to come back on. We're gonna talk cricket. Now, today's match was disappointing for KKR, particularly disappointing. They, not because they weren't the players were not playing on the side, but they lost the advantage of a moment when they could have seized it and actually defeated Mumbai Indians and put a real stamp on their ascendancy throughout the competition. And because of that, Mumbai Indians have been able to sneak out a win. Some people would say Mumbai Indians defended very well. I would argue they were a little bit lucky because I think KKR imploded rather than Mumbai Indians addressing the game. Mumbai had, of course, Bolt and Bumrah there, but I don't know whether that was the issue there. I think it was more of a poor effort from the KKR at bat, with the likes of Shakib, of course, and Owen Morgan. The cap, Mervyn, what do you think of Owen Morgan?
Oh, he's a fine captain too. To me, he wears an iron glove, you know. You know, he's very quiet, but I think there's a lot of things going through his mind, you know, and I think he's a great captain also. But I think it's pretty much early in the whole competition, you know. But I just certainly hope that this game today, that the KKR lost, that is not going to come and haunt them later on, you know. But it's pretty early, but they have some time to iron out the kinks and to learn from their mistakes, you know, and to know exactly how to seal the game when they've got it in their hands.
Absolutely. We have a question here as well from Milan with a call. Have a look at this. Debastis, can you read it?
Yeah, I can. You can't really blame the Chennai pitch. Whoever says what, whether it's ABD or the England team, you have to adapt to different pitches. You can't expect every pitch to be like Wankhede.
It's very true. What's your thoughts there, Debastis?
The good thing about the wickets is that every place you have the wicket of its own nature. You cannot take it because we all know that in Chennai, down south, you will all invariably have slow turners. That is the traditional wicket you have in Chennai. That is the beauty of the game. In different wickets, if you go to a ground like Waka, Perth, you would invariably get a hard wicket, hard decks with good pace and bounce. So you cannot expect the Perth wicket to be all of a sudden rank turners. Am I right? Does it make
Exactly.
sense? And that is what, because you cannot blame the pitch because Chennai pitch has traditionally been slow turners. So I think Milan is fair. You cannot blame the pitches.
Yeah, but I also think that you know, I don't complain about pitches because both teams have got to play in it. It's not a one-sided thing, you know. And I would think that the staff or the members of a particular team, right? You know you're going to be at it's quite a lot. It's just not 17 guys. It's much more than 17. And you have to have your spinners, you have to have your tight bowlers and your pace bowlers, right? And you know your leggies and your offies. So you have to know exactly when you're going to play on a particular pitch, what team you're going to pick, and then you have to play on the team. You have to play on that pitch. So I don't think the pitches is better for anyone than the other.
And if I would like to take you back a few months back when India played England and England failed miserably in that third test at Ahmedabad. Just a few days after, Sir Vivian Richards, comes out and makes a very, very important statement: is that you cannot blame the pitches.
No.
In fact, both the teams are playing on that same strip. So you cannot blame on his days. I believe Marvin would be better off to say, because Sir Veep never used to look at the wickets. He would just go out there and just take on the bowlers on any conditions, any wickets invariably.
That's right.
He didn't given the pitch a thought.
He was one. He was sorry. He was one that he never had a look. You know, if he's coming at 3 or 4, he never had a look at what's going on out there. He'd rather stay right, because if you're in the pavilion and you're looking and you're seeing horrors out there of how the batsmen are playing, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the same for you. Exactly. So he always preferred to go out and sort things out for himself. And I think that was, that was a good way to approach it.
Absolutely true. It gives you a clear mind. If you go out to bat,
That's right.
not with the demons in your head, the last four batsmen have got out to.
That's right. Yeah. They're different to you. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. And I think a lot of players should be taught that when they play cricket. They should not be watching as much and not over preparing or over analysing what's going on. Now, official side makes the good comment, which I think relates to that. Debastus, can you read that?
Yeah, absolutely, Norman. That's the beauty about IPL. Different pitches, different batting conditions. That's why we see so many wonderful players emerging. I agree.
Right. That's right. Adaptation. See, but the thing about it too, right, is that the feeling side may have a little advantage, though. The feeling side. I mean, when it's a test match, you have your better players in the slip, so they can see exactly the movement, for when they go in, but they don't necessarily have to sit and watch the batsman, how they play. But the feeling side has a better opportunity to watch and see what's going on, and then they can make the assessment in their head as to what they're seeing out there, right? And how the ball is moving and adapt to it.
And let's be honest, I mean, and there's some comments about this too by Milan and the like in our commentary. The reality is that commentators do talk a lot about the pitch and overemphasize or overanalyze the pitch. The reality is both teams have the same conditions, wet, dry, hard or soft. Both teams have exactly the same conditions, and the better team will win on the day who adapts or handles.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Official side wants to talk about the comments on the Mumbai Indians batting order. I think the batting order is in pretty good shape. Debastus, what do you think?
I don't see any problem with the batting, but then obviously, I totally disagree on one thing, is that when you have a batsman in the stature of Chris Lynn, who batted so well in the first match, scored you that brilliant, played a brilliant knock, and then to miss out in the immediate next match, I think it is a touch unfortunate, because I would definitely love to see Chris Lynn batting again. At least give him another go. Means obviously he did well, he's a decent batsman in this format. So if there has to be any change in that Mumbai Indians batting, obviously now it will be put behind the doors, I think, because the fact that Mumbai has won. But when Mumbai lost, definitely there would have been questions asked as to why Chris Lynn didn't play, didn't get another chance, given the fact that he did so well in the first match.
Well, then again, it boils down again to the pitches too. I mean, yes, he might have played well in that first game, but going into this game on that pitch, perhaps they rotated to bring someone in who could maybe manage that pitch. I don't know. I'm just trying to get into their head as to the way they're thinking. But as you rightly said, if he performed well in that first game, you would have loved to have seen him in the game today and see exactly how he coped with today's game. I totally agree with you.
Very, very true. We're getting lots of comments. It's about Sky and his batting. He looked particularly good today, and he's nailed it for the T20 World Cup. Of course, Sky is batting at first drop for Mumbai Indians and has taken that position to be his own, and he owns it, doesn't he, Debastus?
Absolutely, he owns that number 3 position for Mumbai Indians, and today also he batted splendidly. I think he set the tone, but obviously Mumbai were pegged back due to the bowling of Andrew Russell towards the end, because they were below the par score, which was 170 odd, the par score on that Chennai strip. But then Mumbai would certainly felt that they were 10 or 15 runs short of that par score. But then they're a champion side, and Norman, as you always put out, that they are a team made of champions. When you talk about Mumbai Indians, 5 times champion of IPL, they had when you talk about the players, means each are a champion player, be it a Kieron Pollard, be it a Rohit Sharma, be it a Hardik Pandya, be it a Surya Kumar Yadav, and be it a Trent Bolt. They are a champion. They are a team made of champions. So, and that
That's
is
right.
why.
They have world beaters. Yes, they do have world beaters. I mean, if one doesn't get off, the other one, and if two or three of the players, top players, don't get off, they still got players who can bring it home. You're absolutely correct. They're a real champion team.
The reality is, though, there is something that I'm saying when I say that, Devashis and Mervyn. When I say they're a team of champions, we also want them to be a champion team. In some cases, you have other teams that exist. And RCB is probably a team of champions, but they probably need to be more a champion team and come together. That's probably lacking a little bit. With Mumbai Indians cover both bases, they've got an actual champion team as well as a team of champions. I think that's the difference. There's a difference between that, but you need elements of both to be able to gel. And you'll find that that's where Delhi Capitals hopefully will come together, because they seem to be a champion team. RCB are striving to be a champion team, and they need to finish in that manner to be able to be seen as that, hence win a title. And it must be really playing on RCB's mind that they have not won an actual IPL title to this point. And for that matter,
And I think, yeah, and the Mumbai Indians, they are the champions. As you said, 5 times since the start of the IPL. They're the ones who are under pressure, because they always say that it's easier to win championships, but it's hard to keep, because everybody is coming at you. Everybody's coming at you, and they've stand the test so far.
Absolutely. It's an important thing that you've said there. That's why I believe it's going to be difficult for Mumbai Indians to win a 3rd year running. But that's my only thought is, can they continue to win? Will teams be at them, such as the Delhi Capitals, or
yes.
KKR, or KKR tried today, but they didn't perform well enough, or Sunrise Hyderabad. These teams will be after them. They'll be after to beat them, and that's going to make it difficult for Mumbai Indians the best of times.
Well, the first couple of games, you've seen how close the games are. It tells you what type of competition we're going to have this year.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be pretty tough. Yeah.
What did you think of Chris Gale, Mervyn? What did you think of his performance in that game?
Yes, Chris Gale. Well, it's either he's got a name and he's got the record. He's got the stats behind him. It's whether or not the bowlers are going to be intimidated by that. You understand? But it's always and then again, if you are an upcoming cricketer and have never played against him, you know, obviously you're gonna want him under your belt. If you can get you have him bowled or have him caught somewhere, it's good on your resume. You understand? So, I mean, he's walking around with a target on his back. Tell you the truth.
That's true. That's true. He has.
But he has everything in his repertoire to really on his day to destroy and destruct.
But now he's 39. Do you still think that he has it in him? Means to take a team to a champion?
I think so. Once he is in shape, when I say he's in shape, you see, for the amount of innings that he has played, you know, it's like knowing exactly when a ball pitches at a certain spot. He has done it 1,000 times. What he's going to do with it, you understand? So it's once he is in shape, and he keeps himself in you know. But obviously, as the older he gets, is the less his reflexes are going to get. And perhaps I don't want to write him off as such, but maybe perhaps this might be his last year, or you know, and if he's in shape, maybe next year when he's 40 or so. But he's gonna get pretty tough, because I remember when I turned 40, you know, and I was reading a book. When I turned 40 and I was reading a book, all of a sudden I took the book away from me, you know. you know, and I could hardly see what was written there, you know. So I don't know if it's gonna happen to Chris. I don't know if it's gonna happen to Chris at all.
I mean,
But I see we're just joined by Ronan.
Yes, we have been. Ronan Matthew, how
That's
are you?
right.
Nice to know. I'm very, very honoured to have you as a part of our show. Mervyn Richards, as you know too well, and Debasha Sen, meet Ronan Matthew.
Hi, Ronan.
How you doing? Nice to meet you guys.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
We're finishing off talking about the KKR match versus the Mumbai Indians, but your book that I have here, and I want you to hold up a copy of your book. This book is going to be the topic of conversation. There it is. I can't wait to talk about it. The Ruby's Dream is Mervyn.
Yes, and we're gonna tell a thing about the book also, so that he can
Okay.
yeah.
But
Ronan loves his cricket too, eh? He's okay.
All right, we'll come back. All right. So the reality is,
let me get mine. Yeah, this is mine also.
We'll get that book out and talk about it.
This is world exclusive, Norman. This is world exclusive.
Absolutely. Ruby's Dream. Now, Ronan Matthew and Mervyn, we're going to be talking very shortly, guys. We'll hold you back a bit, let the audience simmer and work out who you are. It's going to add to the anticipation. What we'll talk about now, Ronan, did you have a chance to watch the Kolkata Knight Riders game against Mumbai Indians, by any chance?
I watched most of it, yes.
Right.
It was a very exciting game. I thought that KKR would have won, but Mumbai pulled it back.
Exactly.
Some fantastic bowling.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yes.
So, Ronan, are you a? Well, we know that we're going to talk about your ability as an author, but as a commentator, we need your. We want to. I have a crystal ball here, by the way. Mervyn said before, my crystal ball. It goes as a chocolate milkshake. Hold it, but my crystal ball talks a lot about teams, and I picked Delhi Capitals to win the competition, and Mumbai Indians would struggle. But I'm having some doubt now whether it's working because Mumbai Indians pulled off quite a great match today to be able to get away with that win, considering where KKR were at. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think you should never cast aside the Mumbai Indians, no matter what position they're in. They have some players who can win. You know, the funny thing about it is that winning becomes a habit, you know. Those guys know how to win. And even the commentators said that today when they were in a spot about it towards the end, when it seemed like if they would cruise, you know. Andre Russell came in and he swaggered in a little bit, and then everyone thought he would have taken them over the line. But unfortunately, or fortunately for Mumbai, they had the bowlers who believed in themselves, and they did it. And considering that there were a couple of drop catches too in the end, that in the field, and they still were able to pull it out with their bowling. So never count out the Mumbai Indians. Those guys know how to win. You look at the guys on the team; they're winners.
Absolutely.
So that's
Brilliantly said. What an astute man we've got here, Ronan. I think you're showing up Mervyn a bit. I think you're outdoing Mervyn a bit here. No.
I didn't know it'd be Mervyn, I can tell you that. He knows a lot about cricket, you know.
Now there's a comment. There's a comment
So
being
do you.
made here. Sorry, there's a comment being made here. Debasha, take your hat off. Debasha, take your hat off. There's a distinct trend going on here. I've got my wig on here, but there's a distinct trend. Obviously, I think intelligence is based on the way your hair goes, and you guys, with your hair challenged ways, have actually outshined me. And I'm looking at this comment here. Angel Ingle has said 3 head-shaped guys on podcast today. I'm only quoting what they're telling me. It's a very distinct moment here, worthy of a photograph. I'm gonna take a photograph of my vlogs of our group here.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Sorry to digress, guys. We'll come back to the topic now.
Ronan, our other guest here has been to Antigua, and I've met him.
Really?
And it's great to see, yes, my friend here, yes. He came right to this house here.
And where does he live? Where do you live?
I'm from Calcutta.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We met. And I took him to the park too. You know the park where we all grew up and played.
And
Yeah.
I was lucky to meet your brother as well.
Yeah, Donald, yes. You met
Yeah,
Donald, that's right.
he came from
And
the
he-
States. I think he
That-
from
That's right, that's right. And,
right.
and you did a nice story and you sent it to me.
And
Yes.
I did send you the interview, right?
That's right, you did. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is getting Ronan. It's getting too warm and fuzzy again. When we get warm and fuzzy, the screen gets a bit fogged up.
I'll just sit back and listen to you guys chat, and then I can get
No,
on.
no. You know cricket, so
Stay
you
right
might as well
there.
stay.
Stay
Okay,
right
okay.
there. Don't
Of
leave.
course. Yeah.
I've already got people asking, Ronan, I already have people asking who take very close note of what's going on. They're asking, is your book available on Amazon and various platforms? They're actually already, we haven't even talked about the book, and they're already wanting to buy it. Let me have a
Book
look.
is available on Amazon, correct? In two formats, in paperback and in Kindle form. So you
Perfect.
can choose. Yeah, you can choose whichever one you want to purchase it on, and it's a good read. It's actually very easy to read, but it encapsulates so many things about the Caribbean. But we can talk cricket and then get to that. I'll be happy to.
But his books is already wanting to get it on Kindle. So you've already got orders coming thick and fast from today. All right, we'll go back to the cricket for the moment before we head into the Ruby's dream. My dream is for Delhi Capitals to win. maybe not Ruby's dream, but it's normal.
I hope it's not a nightmare.
No, that's a different story altogether, Bowden. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, we had a very young, beautiful lady as our co-host today, but her phone's gone the blink. Anisha was here earlier, and I think when I asked about does she know Sir Vivian Richards, I think there may have been a moment when her phone packed up. That was unfortunate. But she's a lovely lady, and she'll be on in future episodes. So,
Okay, great.
So it's late in India. Official size going to bed, but we've got an audience in America. Milan's in Austria. We've got people in the Caribbean. We've got people all over the world listening to this, including, of course, Australia. Australians are now waking up to this. The English are still well and truly awake as well. So it's a very diverse audience we've got here, Ryan. So a great platform to talk about your book. Have you had much of an opportunity to talk about your book to others yet?
Actually, yes. I appeared on 2 radio stations here, and I just got back from Las Vegas. While the book was published, I was in Vegas, so I spoke with many people there regarding the book. People have been calling me from far and wide because Antiguans live in many areas of the world, and with the internet now, they have access to various stations, you know. So I was on a radio station here last week for 2 hours, and then on Friday again another radio station for 2 hours, and I've been getting many calls and been asked to join some Zoom discussions. You know, a lot of people have book clubs. There's a group of Antiguans in New York who have a book club, so I'm supposed to appear on one of their meetings to answer some questions. Ironic because you know, I changed the names in the book, and some of them have been calling me trying to identify the people, you know, and I tell them that's why I changed the names. So this book touches the nerve. I mean, a lot of people who we grew up in Oval, all of us grew up together. I've known Merv since I was about 6 or 7 years old, Merv and his brother. I know the whole family, all of them I know. We all know each other. That's the way it was. Families know each other and you're expected to behave in a certain way, you know?
Yeah.
I can tell you a story about Merv's father, you know?
Please do. Please do.
I told you before that his father was a bit of a disciplinarian and he worked as a prison officer. I think he was one of the lieutenants in the prison officer department there. So one day I was back, because I've lived a lot in the United States. One summer I was back home, and England, West Indies were playing England in England. And Viv was standing as the captain for Clive Lloyd at the time. And I was walking in the street in the neighborhood right by the cricket park that we played in. And I saw Merv's father, you know, and he was scolding me for something I didn't do. And he said to me, "You little boys are too damn hardened. That means like we don't like to listen." And I said, "Mr. Richards, what did I do?" He says, "You're just like your friend. I told him to put in a third man." He's talking about Viv now. I told Viv to put a third man, and he's not doing it. You guys just too damn hard and you don't listen. I was taking the brunt of his anger, so to speak, because Viv, the captain of the West Indies, didn't put in a third man like he told him to. I had to take it. I just had to take it. I couldn't respond negatively or say, I had nothing to do with that. I didn't talk to him to tell him what to do with the team, but his father was admonishing me for, because all of us were the same. He identified all of us as his ward, so to speak, you know, his kids, and he could tell us anything he wanted to. So, and we had to listen. Even though I was a grown man at the time, I could not respond to defend myself. I just kept quiet.
Now, guys, before we head into the book, that was a great starting point, and I'm excited to hear more of these conversations, Ronan, immensely. But we've got a few guests. We might just make sure we finish off with their discussions regarding tomorrow's game, which we will lead into, of course, after this match and the next match. So Anuj Ingle says he wants to know about. Actually, no, that's the wrong one. Hang on. I'll get that right statement. I pulled up the wrong one. Hang on. Let me just get it up. There, that's the question. He said, what do you guys think about tomorrow's match? Now, tomorrow's match is between, let me have a look. We've got
Kohli, Steeman, Kohli, and who is this?
SRH, Sunrisers Hyderabad.
And Warner.
That's right.
David
Warner. And Warner. That's right. That's right.
So Sunrisers Hyderabad, captained by Warner, and RCB, captained by Kohli. It'll be an exciting match because of the sheer makeup of a Kohli-Warner matchup. De Villiers with the likes of Bairstow. We've got quite a matchup, and of course Glenn Maxwell. I'm actually most interested to see Warner and Maxwell because there's a fair bit of cheekiness between those two as well. What do you think of that game, guys? Ronan, do you have an opinion of that game?
Well, you know, I'm a Kohli fan, so I'm going to go with Kohli.
But Ronan, they have had some bad starts in most of the yeah.
I know they have had some bad starts, but you know what?
And struggle to make that top four.
But I always go with the guy I like. You know, I like Kohli. Kohli's a winner.
I like him. I like him too. And I'll watch him. I'll watch him play. But I'm a Mumbai Indians. I go with. I like champions. I don't like headaches.
In this particular match, I'm going to go with Kohli. If they were playing the Mumbai Indians, I would.
Oh yes, I'm with you. I'm with you, Ronan.
Now, what we've done, we're going to transition now from the discussion on India and the IPL into the book. But okay, we've got your opinion, Ron. You think RCB will be obviously the winner with Kohli? Mervyn, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kohli also. You know, I'm a Kohli. Kohli's in my back pocket. You know that. What does your crystal ball say? Say Norm.
My crystal ball says that Mervyn Richards is going to become legendary in his own lifetime. It says that here, right here.
Well, I hope so.
And it also says that Ronan will become on the bestsellers book list in America by year's end.
Wow.
I hope so.
But in the case of Debashis, it's warning me that there'll be scandal in his life. That the scandal, I'm not sure what the scandal is, but there's scandal written all over my cloudy container. But in my case, in my case, of course, it says Norman's beauty will be everlasting. It doesn't lie. No.
What about our dear friend Sanya and Pretty? What says about them?
Well, Pretty
would they become mine? Would they become mine?
Pretty will become yours. But she was very close to Mervyn. She was in the Virgin Islands within 2 foot of Antigua. Could easily taken a boat ride, or you could have.
That's right. I could have taken my jet over there. Yeah.
You could have gone there too.
That's right.
And Anisha, we'll see more of her once we sort out, I think, the phone issue that she has. All right, so okay, we've got
Fantastic.
RCB, Jabastas, RCB or Sunrise?
RCB, definitely
Okay.
RCB. RCB.
I would have
Okay,
to say RCB as well. So we've got 4 RCBs, and that's a result for the night. That's for Hardik Palmer. He wanted to know that, and there's your answer. We're all thinking RCB, but obviously Warner will put up a good show. All right, Jabastas, you want to leave? We're going to leave ourselves to Roman and Mervyn.
And thank you, Norman and Marvin. It was great to meet you again. And Ronan, thank you very much. And I hope your book does well. If it is available in India, I will be the first one to grab one copy. And thank you to all 3 of you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure, Norman, to be on your platform, getting these gentlemen on your platform to talk about cricket. And I am really, really thrilled to meet Marvin today, because we spent some lovely time
That's
meeting
right.
both the Richards brothers. So thank you once again, Norman, and we'll catch up tomorrow once again on your platform.
Okay,
thank you very much. Goodbye. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Jabastas. Ciao. It was great to have Jabastas on. We spent some time together. Oh, hello. This is a better visual now. I'm going to have to separate you two, because we can't have you talking behind your backs there. That's
fantastic.
Now, Ronan, you have to, both Mervyn and Ronan, I want you to hold up the books while I talk. I need to have a proper introduction. I want to see those books. Why don't you you turn to the back cover. You turn to the back cover, Mervyn.
Okay. Right. Ronan, you're good.
A bit more to your, there we go, that's it, perfect. We won't see your faces for a while, but I want to introduce, I'm going to make a major reveal here. Once those books drop, we have 2 amazing men, both Ronan and Matthew, the author of Ruby's Dream, the story of a boy's life, which has a lot of interesting aspects of Antigua and some very famous family. And that behind the other book is one of the gentlemen that play a role in that book. And you can see this book is available on Amazon, a lot of platforms. We'll make sure the links are attached to this particular broadcast. It's extremely important to buy this book. It's also available on Kindle. So all my viewers, you need to buy this book. It's going to be great to talk about it. Now we'll make the major reveal. Ta-da! Wow, look at that.
Well done, Norman. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mervyn, and thank you, Ronan. I'm going to hand over to you, Ronan. I want to know the history of the book, how it came about, and what you've done with it.
Well, this book encapsulates a lot of areas of Caribbean life. I mean, as small boys, we all grew up in this park playing cricket. And I don't know if you've been to Antigua, but you've been to the Caribbean, I imagine.
Many times.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you've been to Antigua too.
No, he's almost Antiguan. Yes, if he comes back here another year, he gets his passport.
Well, we know Shipwreck. I know that Curtly Ambrose, the Winston Benjamins, the Dave Joseph, the Ridley Jacobs. You
met all of them, yeah.
Your Prime Minister, I met.
That's right.
Stayed at Jolly Beach, everything.
Well, we are from an area called Ovals, and this book really is about Ovals. We have had many, many people come out of Ovals. I think people are asking, what is it about Ovals that has produced so many outstanding citizens? Maybe it's something in the water. I don't know. Maybe me and Mervyn are the only 2 from there who haven't got the others.
So hang on, let me get this clear. Overs. Explain that a bit more. Explain it for the viewers who may not know. Explain more about that.
Ovals is a little village just on the outskirts of the city. It's really a part of St. John's, but it's just on the outskirts of the central part of the city. Walking distance, 5-10 minutes. And that's where we're from. But this area is very, very an interesting area because it was a community. They always say it takes a community to raise a child. Well, we had a community. We had a steel band. We had many police officers. We had cricket teams. We had soccer teams. Some of the best soccer players on the island came from there. As a matter of fact, one of our friends always says about Ovals, and other people get mad, but he says there are 2 types of people from Antigua. People from Ovals and people who wish they were from Ovals. So I'll tell you a story about cricket when we played cricket in the Ovals Park, And it was always Mervyn and his brother Viv who were the outstanding players. They had a couple of other outstanding players too, but they were not as outstanding as these two. I'm sure you might have read a book about cricket called Beyond the Boundary by C.L.R. James. C.L.R. James is from a little town in Trinidad called Tunapuna. And he said there was a young boy who was like a hoodlum, a bum, in every sense of the word. But when he picked up a cricket bat, he was transformed into a genius. He said him wielding a cricket bat was like somebody playing a Stradivarius violin. And when he played cricket in the park in Tunapuna, everybody stopped to watch him play. But as soon as he was out, everybody drove away, or the people who were standing walked away. So the same thing happened to us as boys when we were playing cricket in overs. When Mervyn and his brother Viv went up to bat, the neighbors came out onto the porches. The people driving by in cars stopped to watch. When those guys got out, people left. If somebody like me batted, nobody wanted to see me or anybody.
Because you always lost the ball.
So that was all growing up in overs. There were two genius players, actually. I mean, Mervyn had an on drive and a cover drive that was, you wonder how somebody so young could do that, you know? To make it look so easy. Now, in terms of being competitive, one of the brothers, I'm not going to tell you which one, played cricket like if he was fighting a war. He had to win at all costs, no matter what. The other brother, which was a little bit more relaxed, didn't play with that kind of fervor. He wanted to enjoy the game. But you can probably guess which one wanted to win at all costs, no matter what.
I'm going to guess Viv. I'm going to guess Viv. But I'm very interested, Mervyn, to hear about your batting and your bowling and your play from Ronan, because I think we can get it from the horse's mouth. I'm sure he saw your play.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about
Was that your alarm? What was that, Ronan? What was that?
It was my phone. Somebody's probably watching and calling me.
Well, I'm going to make sure we get your book. Well, I'm ordering a book. I'm going to get your book publicized here, and we're going to make sure that Australians know about your book, because the love of Antigua, the love of the Richards family, the love of that whole area is immense. And I think the Bradford Museum, which has obviously aspects of cricket there, would love to have this book on sale in that particular location. And I'll make a point of them being made aware of it, don't you worry. In fact, this program right now is doing that. As once you do a program like this, as you know, it's not just the viewers that are here right now, it's the viewers that see it post-event. It's a lingering, continual broadcast. It's just a matter of people being made aware of it, and they'll watch. So this is a great moment. Right, we can talk about Viv a lot, but I want to talk about Mervyn for a moment. Tell me about his cricketing career.
Well, what I can tell you is this, and people in the neighborhood, when we were growing up, I hope no one gets upset with me, but there's still a lingering debate about who was better as boys. We know who developed into an international, world-famous superstar, but I'm talking about boys. Even up to today, when people from overs get together, or if we had a cricket match, invariably the discussion comes up, which of the two brothers was better as boys? So, and that's been debated since 1970. That has been an ongoing debate. Mervyn, I know, went on to play for Antigua. He went on to play for the Leeward Islands. In my opinion, he was all set to play for the West Indies, but somewhere along those lines, he decided he wanted to play football instead. And he became arguably Antigua's best footballer. I can tell you, when I lived in California for a couple of years in 1976, I believe. And Mervyn came out here to play for a team we had, football. And we played another team. And when the game ended, many people came up to Mervyn and asked for autographs, asked for what team. there was a professional team they called the San Jose Earthquakes. And one of the guys played for the San Jose Earthquakes, and Mervyn outshone him by far. And as I say, many people stood around after the game and approached Mervyn, asked for his autograph, and asked what professional team he played for. He was an amazing football player. He was also an amazing cricketer.
Well, that goes to show the strength of the gentleman we have here, Mervyn, that he had many facets. So he chose soccer as opposed to cricket, but could easily have excelled at cricket. And in turn, Sir Viv had the limelight, but it doesn't mean that Merv didn't have as much limelight from his own personal success.
Yeah, well, Viv, as I said, I've said to many people, I've said it to Viv himself. Viv wanted to win at all costs. That was his personality. And I've always said, Mervyn is his mother. Mervyn is the mother's son, and Viv is the father's son. In other words, they have taken on the personalities of each of the parents. And as I said earlier, Viv's father chastised me because Viv didn't put in a third man. And I was just walking. So if Mervyn's mom had seen me, she would have said, "Hi, Roland, how are you?" I would have said, "I'm doing fine, Miss Richards. How are you?" But Mr. Richards is a whole different story.
It's the whole community feeling you're talking about, which is overwhelming. Not only the Richards family, but the whole community around the Richards family. That was significant, was it not?
Yeah, I would say they were the focal point of the community. Yes, for sure.
Oh, look, so okay. Now let's get into the book itself. You've given us a bit of a history. Let's get into the book itself. And
okay, so this book is not just about cricket. I can tell you that. The book covers a lot of social aspects of the Caribbean, a lot of social aspects of Antigua. I've used pseudonyms in the book, but people who read the book can identify the people. I'm in the book too, and the book it says the story of a boy's life, and that picture on the cover is my mom. And
show us the cover here. Show us the cover.
No, you talk on, and I will show.
Okay, yeah, you talk.
So that's a picture of my mother, and a picture of me when I was about 12 or 13. So what the underlying aspect of this book also is about fatherhood and abandonment and rejection and responsibility of parents. What I tried to do was interweave the anecdotes about growing up in Antigua, growing up in the Caribbean, growing up in our community, and intersperse that with, if you will, colonialism and immigrants who moved to bigger countries. I know V.S. Naipaul, and I'm no V.S. Naipaul, but he had the same themes in his book, and a guy by the name of Samuel Selvon who wrote a book called The Lonely Wanderers. And this book encapsulates what it's like to move from a small island with big hopes and dreams, but no money, and to try to get an education in the United States and to make a life for yourself. And at the same time, the underpinnings of that was, I say, fatherhood, because I had a father, but my father was not in my life. My mother had a father, but her father never acknowledged her. And it has to do with race as well, because anybody who sees me automatically thinks I'm a white man, but I'm not. You see? So all those kind of things growing up, as my son said, in a melanin-rich community, looking the way I look. I look this way because of my grandfather. My mother's father was a white planter, so to speak, and a lot of white planters at the time took advantage of black women, and I was a product of one of those circumstances. So yes, cricket is in the book, Antigua is in the book, but there are a lot of different factors I try to interweave into the story, which I think makes it quite interesting.
I can't wait to read it.
I stopped the book when I became a man. When I believe I became a man, because I graduated from university in 1975, and I'm happy that my grandmother, who had very little bit of an education, was there to witness that. She died not long afterwards, but she witnessed me walking across the stage to get my university degree. And I was the first one in my family and my extended family, cousins, everybody, to get a university degree. I subsequently moved to California and Las Vegas, where I pursued graduate school and actually obtained a degree in educational leadership. So I have a doctoral degree in educational leadership and became a pretty well-known educator and administrator in Las Vegas before I moved back to Antigua.
But obviously, having lived in Vegas, Antigua was always in your bones.
I've always come back every summer because I was a teacher. I was able to live 9 months in the U.S. and spend about 2 months in Antigua every year.
Perfect.
And his license plate in Las Vegas was ovals.
I had a personalized license plate that said ovals.
How good's that? Just for the sake of the viewers, they're going to all look up this word. Spell ovals for us.
OVALS.
As in the normal spelling of ovals.
Ovals, yeah. Like the ovals, yeah.
Now that's to me a special story. Okay, now some of the parts of the book that you want to bring to the fore. Tell me some of the things that people would like to, a bit of a tidbit of what's in the book, so we tantalize them to want to read it.
Well, the thing about it is too, there's some tidbits in the book that speaks about all the mischief we got into as boys. I mean, some of them are too embarrassing to say. I mean, for example, we did a lot of stealing.
We just took.
Not stealing anything of substance, but where we live had lots of mango trees, fruit trees, and everything. And when we were playing cricket, we had very little resources. So if we were playing with a tennis ball, which we probably got at the tennis, where they had the tennis center or wherever, or we stole the ball from somewhere, in somebody's yard, you were out. And you had to go and get the ball from the yard. But I remember one time there was a lady to the east of the cricket ground, and she had lots of tangerines on her tree, yeah? So I had to go to get the ball because I had hit the ball over the fence. And I took that opportunity to take all the tangerines off the tree. And when she saw me a couple of days later walking up the street, she said, "Hey, Ronan." And I said, "Yes, Miss Scholar." She said, you could have left at least a couple of the tangerines for me." I was very embarrassed, We had another guy on the other side of the park who was a fisherman. And he had some very sharp knives, And if you hit the ball in his yard, you had to be careful. You had to make sure he wasn't at home, because if he was at home, he would throw the ball back, but it was already cut in 2 pieces. So that was the end of the cricket game. And we had other characters in the park. Some of the things are embarrassing to tell you, but we had one guy, in cricket, there's a cardinal rule as boys. If you bat, you must field, right? I'm sure you had that in your hometown.
Of course.
Well, there was this one guy in particular who thought that he could bat all the time and didn't have to go out on the field, And I think one of the guys got fed up with it. While he was sitting there bragging, he doesn't have to go to the field. The other guy ran over to him and hit him on the side of the head with the edge of the bat. He was in the hospital for 2 months.
Yep, that's right.
Wow.
That was like, every time we get together now, we were shocked. He didn't tell us he was going to do that. He just
did it.
Ambulance had to come, take him to the hospital and everything. There's so many other factors, things that we did as boys. We were 13 years old, I think. But I subsequently met that guy in New York about 2 years ago. The guy
really?
Yeah, the guy that hit it, yeah.
And I asked him about it. He says, that has been one of the biggest regrets of my life, that I did that. He said, he was very remorseful. He said, in retrospect, I could have killed that guy over a stupid cricket game. But you're young and you're hot-blooded and you do stupid things. And they've made up. They have spoken and they're friends now, so that's a good thing. But when I asked him 2 years ago, he said that was the biggest mistake, the biggest regret of his life. So all those things are covered in the book.
Wow. Very, very emotive, very detailed sounding book to me. Okay. You've mentioned you met Mervyn first when he was 6 years old.
About 6 or so, yeah.
Was that in school or was it at the park? Where was that?
Well, we went to different schools. And our school was very competitive, you know. We were rivals. He went to the St. Joseph's Academy, and I went to the Antigua Grammar School. But when we came back in the community, we forgot all about the rivalry, you know. Overs was much bigger than anything else for us, you know.
That was it. That was it.
You
Yeah.
see,
But your first meeting was it on in a game of cricket on the park or what?
Well,
what-
No, we lived close to each other.
we lived
Yeah.
right next to each other, so
Yeah.
That's the best
After
friends.
after my mother died when I was 6, I used to live maybe like half a mile away. And after my mother died, I lived right next door to the park. It was a matter of crossing the street. So all the kids knew each other. We went to the park when we were little.
That's right.
We were out there playing, 6, 7 years old. We were out in the park playing cricket and football. Most of us didn't even wear shoes at the time. We were, you know what I mean?
Toner pants, shirts.
Have you got any video or any for evidence of what it was like? Like painting the picture of that park and the homes around there and walking out. Can you tell us?
A few guys took a couple of pictures, Ronan, right? The picture with Little Joe and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have pictures. I don't know if I have them available to me right now. I can
We've had one in his book, ain't it?
Huh?
We've had one in his book.
Yeah, Viv had a picture in his book of when he was little.
Yeah, from his
all
autobiography.
the boys. I think that was his first book. But I have pictures, but I'd have to go and hunt them up. You know.
Yeah,
I will try to find some. I will try to find some for you because I recently got some from a friend. You know, that I never knew existed. You know, the picture. I never knew the pictures existed. So I will see what I can get for you, Norman.
I'd love to show
But Ronan, I was telling Norman about Pushan, Lil Pushan. Maybe you can explain it to him a little.
You never heard of that game?
No. Pushan, the little one I told you that we grew up playing.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You see, Norman, you've heard of the Lily Pushans, right? In folklore.
Yes.
Little people. So we play a game of cricket called Lily Pushan. It was you bowl on the hand.
And you're on your
Right?
knees.
And you're on one knee.
But you spin the ball. You can spin the ball with your thumb.
I would have my right knee on the ground, and I would have my left foot flat, but the back would be shorter. And because the ball, you're not bowling over, and you can spin the ball as much as you can. And we would also play one hop, meaning that you can be out on the fly like in the regular cricket. If the ball hops one time, you can still be out. So that was called Pushan. We just shortened it to Lily Pushan. From Lily Pushan to.
Who created that? Who created that game?
I don't know. It was played in Antigua. I don't know if he played. I think it was played in Jamaica too.
Right.
But we came up and met that game. Yeah.
You want me
It
to show?
existed before
I
us.
can kneel down, give you an idea of how it was played. So I'm going to put my computer down a little bit on the ground.
Okay.
So this is how Pushan is. I'm standing. This is my knee here. The stumps are back here. So I got one leg up.
Yeah.
And let's suppose this is the bat. The bat is short, and
Yeah.
you just play the same, but with kneeling down on your right knee, and you still have to be very good at it because you have a crowd of fielders all around you, and yeah, that was a great game. You learned how to hit the ball in the areas, open areas,
and
Open
learn how
areas.
to play spin. Yeah. You play
how
spin.
to-
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then you'd have to get up and run. You're kneeling when you hit the ball. You have to get up and run. And the stumps are a bit
Amazing.
short. Did
But it gave
Murphy
you-
ever tell you when we were playing cricket in ovals and it was a very dry day, how we put the stumps in the ground?
No.
Tell
You want
us.
to hear it?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
It's dry. It doesn't rain here a lot. And usually we have a box or something as a stunt. But let's say we have some sticks and we're trying to nail them into the ground so that we can have some stumps, And we can't get them in. And somebody would say, who wants to pee? We'll have 6 or 7 boys lined up around the stumps.
Yeah, we're in hand,
Oh my God. Unbelievable. So that softened the soil, allowing the
That's
sun
right.
to go.
That's right. That's right. Man, we came through good, eh? We came through.
We
I
were
wouldn't have liked
7,
to be
8 years old.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
like to be the wicketkeeper.
With a stump kicking it up, isn't it?
That's amazing. What a story. That's fantastic.
Oh my God.
So you're in ovals, you're in that area. You're at the local park. Ronan, you walk across the road, the park's right there. Say Mervyn turns up, Viv turns up. Tell us about that.
Turns up, Small turns up, everybody turns up. It's just like everybody comes. You wake up in the morning, the houses were so small, you have to be outside. And we were in the park.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But the thing about it, Norman, and our parents, I mean, we've been in the park for the whole day, from morning until the sun goes down, It is the longest cricket game and football game that you'd ever seen.
Amazing.
And their parents would tell you, don't you see it's getting dark? You guys come in, and or you had some chores to do, And I look at how the kids are today, and now the parents are trying to drive them out the house. It's completely different.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you another story. Professionally, you see.
Ronan, this is a good one?
A very good one, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Okay.
I've seen Viv hit across the line, and that was the title of his book, Hitting Across the Line, one of his books. And I can tell you, Viv developed a shot where he hits the ball from outside the off stump and hits it towards long on.
Mid-wicket, yeah.
Yeah, well, not quite mid-wicket. Mid-wicket,
okay.
He hit it down by us, but
yeah. I understand. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he developed that shot because if he had hit it the conventional way, the ball would have gone into the fisherman's yard.
That's right.
We wouldn't get the ball back. But when he hit it a little bit to the left, the ball hit a building that was a businessman's building upstairs, and the ball would drop back into the street where we got it, because we played in the park, but actually when you hit the ball, 4 runs the ball had to cross the street to the other side. So it wasn't just leaving the park, it had to cross the street. We didn't have many cars then, and we didn't have to worry about getting hit and stuff. But Viv developed that shot by hitting the ball a certain way so that the ball wouldn't go into the fisherman's yard. And I've seen that shot so many times in the park and when he became an international superstar.
Amazing. Isn't it amazing that the creation of that shot came because of the circumstance, as you described?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember in 1979 also, when he played this one day where he got 189, I think it was, against England in it was the finals, right? And he stepped out his wicket and showed the batsman the 3 stumps, right? In order to hit the stumps, you're going to have to bowl the ball up. And I've seen him done, he has done that as a kid. That was one of his favorite shots, just to get the ball to hit it where you wanted to. But you had to bowl like a Yorker or a little on the crease itself to hit the stump. And that's how he wanted it, because he wanted to get it in a half volley.
That game, I think that's when he batted with Michael Holding.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
89, I believe.
We saw that innings as a kid. As kids, yeah.
What the bowler was trying to do, because he was stepping away from the stumps down the leg side, the bowler was trying to bowl him down the leg side, but he just kept going further and further away from the stumps and hitting the ball on the offside for 6.
But it must, both of you, when you see that on replay or when that first happened, your eyes must have lit up thinking, I know where that came from. That must have been
That's
very
right. That's right. That's right.
incredible moment.
And none of us, at least none of us, I don't think, none of the guys who grew up with him were surprised of his success as a cricketer. It was foreshadowed in everything he did. It was not a surprise.
Remarkable. It really is.
Yeah.
To think that you were watching history in front of your eyes.
There's nobody else with a will to win I've seen like that. And he doesn't even. I don't think he understands the grasp of. I'll tell you 2 stories. I was in southern China once, and it was something having to do with work. And I was in a nightclub, and they were,
That's work, Ronan. I'm sorry. You were working there. Sorry.
I said it had something to do with work. I went to China having to do with work.
The nightclub.
Yeah, but you were in the nightclub. I'm just kidding.
The nightclub was after work hours.
Okay. Okay.
That's better. That's better.
But I met a guy there
Yeah.
from Pakistan, and it's easy to pick out people who are not Chinese, right? And he said to me, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Antigua." He says, "Wow, you're from Antigua. That's where the great Viv Richards is from." I said, "Yeah, I know." He says, "Do you know him?" I said, "Yes." The guy said, "Call his friend over." This guy knows Viv Richards and told me I couldn't spend any money there that night. I don't drink, so I mean, only thing he had to buy me was a Coke. But if I had been a drinker, I guess he would have spent some money. But just the fact
You would own a brewery.
he didn't even know whether I was telling him the truth or not. But because of the pleasure, I suppose, that Viv had brought him as a cricket lover, he told me that I didn't have to buy anything there. And he just wanted to talk all the time. Another incident, which is even more profound, was when I went to South Africa. And in Cape Town, I had the opportunity to meet the Minister of Sports at the time, a guy by the name of Steve Sweaty. And he asked me where I was from. I told him. And the first thing he said, "Oh, Viv Richards." And he asked me if I knew him, and I said, "Yes, Antigua Small." And he said, "Thank him for me for the role he played in ending apartheid." So I thought that was very, very huge.
That is huge.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it did a person like Viv had such an impact upon so many people in the world, and the love of cricket breaks down all barriers, doesn't it?
Yes.
And his presence and his acceptance around the world showed a great light for everyone. I mean, Viv is now. I must say, Viv is obviously, we know about his cricketing prowess. We know all that. But what I remember about Viv, like I do with Mervyn, is the panache, the absolute politeness, the political correctness of the man. When he's sitting with you in a media booth, which I've had experience in Sydney, we're talking together. Now, he had to leave. And he said to me, "Norman, you must excuse me. I have to leave." The fact that he had spent the time to say that to a mere mortal is what I like about the man. He could easily have gone, "So I've got to go." He could have said nothing and just went, which I would have understood due to his.
You want me to tell you to whom you have to credit that politeness and gentlemanliness? You have to credit Mr. and Mrs. Richards for that. They would accept nothing less. They would accept nothing less.
Well, they must be, Mervyn, your parents must have been amazing people. To you as a youngster, they gave you the grounding despite all the glory and all the other aspects of your life, whether it be soccer or cricket or your senator position or generally how women just can't stop touching you on the main streets of Antigua.
Yeah. They really taught us a lot,
Everybody wants a piece of Merv.
Yeah. Well, our 2 things that we learned from our parents. Our mom was very simple, very religious woman, and she at one time said, to me and Viv, that we didn't have much at that time. We don't have much, we have a little, but if we could give a little to someone who had nothing, they would also have a little, and we would still have a little. And that stayed with me, for a very long time. And then our father, and from time to time, Viv would always remind me of, of what our father said to us, that be proud for what you stand for, and be careful for what you fall for. And those two things have always been in my mind, whenever. I mean, Ronan told you about a couple of things that we did when we were small, I mean, perhaps now it would have been, we would probably go to jail for some of these things, right? But they were, they were innocent things, we didn't break into anybody's place. We just stole a couple of fruits and things that we could eat, and the neighbor and the people who we stole it from, they understood that, because they were people that we said good morning and good afternoon and good night to, and would do favors for them if they asked us to, those are the things. So if anyone were to approach us to tell us,
Plus,
to lead us in, sorry.
Plus, we didn't want the fruits to go to waste.
Definitely. So if anyone were to approach me about doing something that was unlawful, the first thing comes up in my mind was, be proud for what you stand for, be careful for what you fall for. And I would tell, I said, look, guys, I'm not good at that stuff. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to find somebody else for that. So we're kind of grateful for bringing. We were poor, but we weren't miserable, and we were humble.
But that's I would argue that is real. It's a real person that you're talking about. The ability to have that characteristic. And I wish there were some of the contemporaries that are playing now would hear this, would watch this, because I think some of them haven't quite got it. Some of them have been swept up in all the success and fame. They tend to forget certain people around them. They do change. I won't mention names, but there are certainly living in Coogee, Ronan, in Sydney, Australia. I'm surrounded by a lot of current ex-cricketers. It seems to be a magnet around the areas of Coogee, Maroubra, Bondi. These are suburbs which are quite swank, near the beach. There's a lot of cricketers that have got money. I mean, for example, Pat Cummins, who is a lovely guy, by the way, has purchased a property up the road from me for 9.5 million Australian dollars, which I'm not sure what that is in your currency, but it's about $3 or $4 million more than anyone else on the street. And it's a magnificent house. Surprisingly, it's not a freestanding house. It's a semi-detached house, but it's obviously beautiful. It's got a good view. It's got a lot of character. The trees are magnificent. But I mean, that's an example. There's Moses Enriques, there's Dave Warner, there's Steve Smith, there's even Richie Beno and his wife, who's now passed away. Yes. His wife Daphne comes down to my coffee shop every day. Shane Watson, Mike Whitney, Jeff Lawson, the list goes on. There's a lot of them. They all congregate in the coffee shops and the restaurants around here, and everybody knows them. But right. It is somewhat of an ovals feeling, but in reverse. Not when they were younger, but perhaps as they've gotten to their peaks. But I think if you were to go have a cross-section of those gentlemen, and I'm not going to name names, some of them have been spoilt by their financial success and have kind of left that normality about what Merv is describing, and it's very disturbing. I'm very close friends to Neil Harvey. As you would know, is the only man alive that played with Donald Bradman, okay? But before, he's 92. He lives on the north side of Sydney. I grab him, I ring him up, and he says, Norman, I go, oh, hi Neil, how are you? Hi, Norman. Do you want to go for a coffee? Oh, I'm not feeling that well today, Norman. I'm getting old now. I say, Neil, I know you like that Black Forest cake near the Woolworths shopping centre. I know you like that. And then there's a moment of silence, and he goes, all right. Okay. So we have a chat, and listening to Neil Harvey talk about the generations of cricket. Of course, he was the selector for Jeff Thompson, Doug Walters, Greg Chappell. He selected them at the era when Viv was selected. This man was a selector. He played with Don Bradman. Neil Harvey is an amazing man, lives on his own. His wife's passed away. The conversation I have with him is electric because he talks about the fundamentals of life, respecting people, listening to people, talking to people, understanding people, seeing all people as not beneath them or above them, but equals, and treating them the same as you would treat anyone, is what Neil's all about. And I find those traits in Mervyn, and I'm sure Viv is the same exactly. But what Neil always tells me is, Norman, why don't current cricketers give me a call and ask me about how to be a captain, how to run a team, how to coach? He has the wisdom of all. And there's certain players I'm not going to get, but the current captains don't get near him. Don't bother to ring him. He'd be the first person I would ring. As would be.
I think a lot of it has to do, I think, with ego and the vast sums of money that these guys are making now. And they need to understand that, first of all, there's so much history in cricket. And I'll criticize some of our West Indian players as well. Some of them don't know about the circumstances involved I'm sure if I asked a current West Indian cricketer, who is Basil D'Oliveira and what his circumstances were, they don't know. I saw Basil D'Oliveira play in Antigua. He came around at the same time as Clive Lloyd. Basil D'Oliveira is the guy that South Africa was kicked out of all international sports over because he was one of the Cape College who was so good, and they refused to let him play. He went to England to play, and they selected him. And when he was supposed to tour, when England was supposed to tour South Africa with the South African government told them, no, you can't. If you bring Basil D'Oliveira here, we won't play against you. And that's what caused the whole thing where they were banned from sport. But I saw him here playing Antigua, and I think it's important for us as Caribbean people and cricketers to know the history of cricket, not just in the Caribbean but all over. I mean, the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, Michael Manley, wrote an incredible book on the history of West Indies cricket, and it's something I think that's where we're lacking. I think it's the responsibility of the cricket board to let these guys be aware that they're not just playing cricket; they have a proud legacy to carry on. I mean, I remember when Frank Worrell died, and they were taking him back to Barbados. I think he died in Jamaica. They were taking him back. There was a cricket match going on at the Antigua Recreation Ground, ARG, and the plane flew right over the ground and circled it, and then went up to our airport, made a stop, and then took his body back to Barbados. So I think our players today don't know the things that they ought to know. And I think if they learn some of these things, whether they learn on their own or they're taught, they would have a different concept of what it means to put on that maroon cap, you know?
Mm-hmm. I have an example.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, move. Go
on. No, I'm saying at one particular time when we weren't doing that well, after the Viv and I think the Richardson and the Lara era, when our cricket really fell, you know, I made a crazy suggestion that maybe perhaps whoever is going to come to be captain of the West Indies team should sit down on a desk like they're doing their GCE or an examination, you know, and write and answer questions about what the different captains of the West Indies team had gone through, or what they did for them to be successful, you know. And if they fail, they just couldn't be the captain of the West Indies team. But it sounded crazy, but you know.
I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea because, again, this Neil Harvey, the only living person that's played with Donald Bradman, a man who has been a selector, played for his country, scored 6,000 runs, has done everything, and he knows everything. You speak to Ian Chappell. Ian Chappell reveres Neil Harvey, absolutely reveres him. Right. And current critics, which I won't mention, haven't bothered to even talk to him. And he says to them, Norman, why didn't they pick up the phone and have a call to me? I could have helped them, even with the current crisis with the sandpaper gate and this and the other. Just give me a call. I could have given you my point of view, which would have been invaluable. And when you listen to him talk, his humble nature, everything that you stand for, Mervyn, and that Viv stands for, is in this man, and it's amazing.
I understand. Yeah,
it's a man that you should listen to.
Sad, but
it's very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
hopefully the show perhaps resonates, because I know a lot of people watch this. For example, I had Bradley Hogg on the other day, and Brad had watched the show without me knowing about it. A lot of people watch cricket shows around the world. They've got an appetite for it. And if you've got, and thankfully I've got a standing now which is quite wide, then I hope that they listen to these shows and they take note as a positive, not a negative. Indeed. But
and I remember, yeah, sorry, and I was going to say, I remember, so you were in his kitchen the other day. He had a ball at Viv. So he says now, people still ask him why he would bounce at Viv. I forgot, what's his name? The space bowler. Norman, you were in his kitchen.
Oh, sorry, you mean Debashes?
Huh?
Who are you talking about, Debashes?
No, you were in his kitchen when you.
Len Pascoe.
Len Pascoe.
Sorry,
that's right.
I'm thinking your kitchen. Me.
Oh,
Len Pascoe.
Yeah. It was nice to see these guys, and I mean, they might have had the rivalry on the cricket field, but they're such pleasant people when you see them off the field, and
absolutely,
I was happy to talk with him and to have met him,
Well, see, I'm very lucky. I have the contact with the Len Pascoes, the Doug Wallers, the Jeff Thompsons, and Neil Harveys. They're personal friends of mine. Your Jeff Lawson's, your Mike Whitney's. These guys we meet all the time, and they're as normal as the day is old. It's just it's brilliant.
That's great.
It is so humbling. You can get Jeff Thompson. You can be sitting with Jeff Thompson, and he gets a phone call from Mick Jagger out of the blue, and I'm going, what the hell's going on here? And Jeff's Jeff's just so incredibly nice about it, not bothered, not overawed. He's just an amazing guy, and they all are. And it's lost on current cricketers. If it comes to an Indian contract and there's a multi-million-dollar amount involved, they suddenly perk up. They become very nice.
Yeah.
I hate to say that's rather artificial. It's dollar related.
That's right.
And it's not why aren't they like that all the time? Because some of those people who I know personally, when they're back in Sydney, they'll be around certain people and they brush people off. They ignore people. They show no time for people. Yet they'll play with kids when they're on the Indian screens. And that disappoints me when I see that, because I know that's not real. Is that a fair point, Ronan? Do you get my point?
I think so, absolutely.
I'm by no means being hard. I'm just trying to
No, because cricket is more than a game, I think cricket captures the things that we ought to know about life and how to behave in certain circumstances. The same gentleman I mentioned earlier, CLR James, and he's a bit of a philosopher, and he said, what do they know of cricket who only know cricket? That question is fully answered. But that's his mantra. What do they know of cricket who only know cricket? What is it that these guys know that other people don't? Mere mortals like us don't know. Some people know the intricacies of the game, and they know that it's about life. It's about winning and losing and preparing yourself for the future. And it's about being humble. It's not a mistake or not an accident that people say that's not cricket. You're in a somebody does something wrong and you say that's not cricket, because cricket has been elevated to such a position where people do the right things. People in life, people do the right things, and in cricket, people do the right things. It's about nicking a ball and walking when you know that you have nicked it, and things of that type. About gentlemanliness and decency, I saw a clip the other day where they've had a chance to run a guy out, and the ball had struck the batsman, and the ball went right into his hands, and the guy was halfway down the pitch. He could have just taken the bails off, but he allowed the guy to come back because he didn't think it was the right thing to do for the guy to be out that way, and so that's what it is, cricket is more than a game in my eyes. And people wonder, how can you sit down and watch a game for 5 days and nobody wins, just draw? But there's so many things going on within the 5 day period. It's about people being able to get together, people being able to sit down and talk and analyze and discuss things, about life and what makes us who we are. And I think we're losing that. Some of the younger cricketers are not taking those things to heart. But I guess everything changes, and maybe in time they will come to realize that it's important what they do and the way they carry themselves. I see some of them now becoming rap stars and that kind of thing, which is, I guess it's okay, but that's not, it diminishes certain aspects of the game. So.
And Virat Kohli is a good example of someone who does take time for people. Having seen him in action, where there'll be people around him and some young child who's waiting for a long time to get his autograph, he'll go left and then turn well right, go to the child, spend time with him, autograph, talk, meet the parent, whatever it takes. There's a genuineness to him doing that when most of the other team members walk straight past the kid. There's a great example of where that's humility, and it's well documented. All right, Ronan, I'm going to get you on again later on. I think you've been fantastic. If you've got time, I'd love to have you back on. The way you spoke with Mervyn is monumental. There's so many aspects of what you can talk about that can enlighten us about the childhood history of both the Richards, also right through the way Antigua conducts itself. Antigua, to me, is one of my favourite places to go to because of the warmth of the people, the genuine way that they come to you and spend time with you. It's lost in many parts of the world. Parts of Coogee where I live, it happens still. We have our get-togethers, we have our great camaraderie, but I think we need to hear more of that. So your book, again, Ruby's Dream. Sorry, my apologies. Ruby's Dream. I will be
story of a boy's life. Yeah.
Stories of a boy's life. We want Ruby's Dream, the story of a boy's life, to be broadcast. I'm going to get a physical copy myself. I'm going to get more copies. I'm going to bring it to the Bradby Museum, which is a great location where people visit to look at cricket history and discuss about it. I think it'll be a wonderful. It's a form of natural history as well. It talks about life.
And the book has been endorsed by Viv. The new edition that you will get, it will have his endorsement at the bottom. The book has been endorsed by Viv.
Fantastic.
The worthy read.
Fantastic. So that's important for me to get that. I'm going to get that book as quickly as I can. I'm going to attach it to. I'll get a bit of a summary from you, if you wouldn't mind. If you've got the book itself, but if you've got a little summary, you can. When you see the actual discussion we've got today in the comments section, just add your own comments there if you like.
Okay.
That would be a great way to have that, and we can then explore that. And I'll make sure that we get this replayed to many platforms. DeBarcis has a platform as well, which is called Extra Time, which has well over 1 million subscribers, and another one with Buri Majumdar. Buri Majumdar actually runs a museum in Kolkata, and he has actually got a PhD on literally cricket. He wrote Tendulkar's book, the one that was fairly recently out. I've got a few other copies here. The likes of Rodney Cavalier. I've got a thing here, you can't see it. It's called Bronzed, which is a book about bronze is a book about statues that exist around the SCG of famous players. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of very distinguished people that I know in Australia and around the world, for that matter, that would love to get a hold of your book. Buri Majumdar, DeBarcis, who you may have seen briefly earlier on, which you did see briefly earlier on, we'll make sure your book gets coverage, because what you've told me, I can't wait to read it. I cannot wait to read it.
It's a good read.
I mean, Ruby's Dream, A Boy's Life, it's not only about you, it's about your whole area. It's what you went through and bringing in a lot of great people. I'm very glad that Mervyn brought it forward to me. As you can see, the sun is rising. It might be some religious sign going on here. The sun is in my face. Maybe I'm having a moment.
You're getting some of our sunshine.
No, but I mean, I've got
I'll be happy to come on anytime.
Would you like
I'd be happy to come on anytime I'd come on.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah,
we have a lot of great programs. We might bring you and Mervyn on as many times as you wish to come on, because it'd be great to explore more about the story and keep talking about your book and anything else you're doing. I'd love to hear it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Norman.
My pleasure. And guys, we've been very fortunate to have Mervyn Richards here and Ronan Matthew talking about a particular book called one of the most intriguing stories I've heard in a long time. I love it because it encapsulates a point of history that we all need to know about. We'd love to share.
Can I give you another quick story before you go?
I'm not going now. If you want to talk longer, please.
So we're about 10 years old, yeah. And Mervyn is a couple of years younger than me and his brother. And there's
Like
this
1
guy.
year.
There's this guy who was, you could call him a troublemaker, if you will. I mean, I don't remember. I think this guy quit school in kindergarten. I never saw him go to any school at all. But he was from our neighborhood. So he decided he was older than us too. Huh? So he decided that he was going to take me and Viv for a swim. And we had to walk through this other village and go to a place called Hatton. And as soon as we got in the water, he said to me, "Do you know there's a shark that lives right here on this beach by the name of One-Eye Rodney? Somebody shot it in the eye with a spear gun."
One-Eye Rodney.
That was
Well, yeah. Say no offense. Tell Mr. Hogg there's no offense to him. All right. But no, he should. But he should tell you about the other one. The other story with the same guy. Now this guy, sorry, leave that to me. This guy was. Go
ahead, Merv.
No, this guy, he was a defender of the boys. He was much older, and if anybody want to pick a fight with us, the younger ones, he will always come and defend us. You know, he was that type of person. You know, and like Ronan said, we have never seen him go to school. But one day he took up one of Ronan's bike from in his yard, his bicycle, right? And he fixed the bike up, and Ronan asked him for a ride one day, you know, and he gave Ronan a ride. And when Ronan brought back the bike to him, he said, "You know, like, Ronan, you guys go to good school, you know, and I just gave you a ride on your own bike, and you don't even know that I stole it from you."
That's a true story, by the way.
Oh my God!
Is it true? Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That must have been embarrassing.
Oh yeah. But it was all good still. You know what I mean? You know.
I knew that.
That's how we live.
If somebody from another neighborhood was trying to fight me, that same guy who stole my bike would have defended. You know.
Yeah, he would stand up and fight for us. Yeah.
Because the neighborhood was supreme to anything else.
That's right.
So is it documented about ovals? Have you documented in the book? I'm sure, but is it something that's documented? Has that been documented, the history of it?
Well,
I think that's the next project.
It'll be the next project.
History.
Yeah. We want to encapsulate some of it, you know. But there's a lot. There are a lot more stories to be told, you know. Yeah.
That would be. I think, and by no means am I pushing you, but I'd love to hear more about this. There's a lot of stuff that will come out without you even realizing it. I'm sure there's things that you have experienced that you, in the dark, deep recesses of your mind, are there that can come out. It'd be extremely interesting. Certainly not dark as
you might have to get Viv's permission to tell some more stories about him.
Don't worry about it. This is only a conversation between you, me, and Ronan. No one else is listening. No one whatever you say won't go
anywhere. The secrecy.
I promise.
It's the secrecy, eh?
Yeah,
but we had two prime ministers from the Ovals community.
Wow.
Yeah, small, but we produced big.
So you've ordained yourselves as prime ministers of Ovals. Is that what you're saying?
No, you said prime ministers from Ovals.
Two prime ministers came from our Ovals. The first prime minister, of our country, and the one who took from him. Yeah, they're from the same. From Ovals. Yeah.
Now, I've forgotten the name of the prime minister who I met. Oh my God.
Baldwin Spencer. It was Baldwin Spencer you met.
That's right. Yes, Baldwin Spencer. He seemed like a lovely man. He seemed like a lovely man.
He is. He is.
And obviously Shipwreck. And I'm sure Ronan knows Shipwreck as well as everybody else.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in a country that is so well known as what Shipwreck is? There's no one on your island that doesn't know him. From the bellhop through to the secretary, through the managing director to the prime minister,
and maybe the unborn too.
Amazing fellow, he really is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. We're trying to encourage him to clone himself. You know, We need some more shipwrecks. Yeah.
And even the way he got his nickname because he brought out a plate of sandwiches in a card game or something, and that when they went away to smoke or whatever they were doing, he ate most of the sandwiches on that plate, and they came back and they said, "Oh my God, what's happened here? It's like a shipwreck." And that's how
yeah.
Because everybody expects a boating accident or something, but completely.
Oh, and remember that article we did with Danny Morrison?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shipwrecked in Antigua.
That was great. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. It was a pleasure.
Well, Norman.
Well, it was a pleasure, certainly, Ronan. And thank you, Mervyn, for bringing Ronan on. And we've got more
Thank you, my brother. It's my pleasure, man. And we'll certainly talk. Just let me know. But whenever you send me that link, right, please tell me my time so I can get it. I get a little confused, you know?
All right.
Okay, buddy.
So, but again,
all the best, my brother.
All the best. Make sure you make the book comments in the commentary, please, Ronan. Okay.
I will. Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks
again, Norman.
This is
bye. Okay.
Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kosek with Mervyn and Ronan. Speak again, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.